I'll leave it there, mate, yeah.
I'll just...
You're live, okay. So that's now streaming live. Okay. Alrighty. Cool, well done, mate. That'll be sweating. Okay, so camera needs to be about there. Now live, yes, okay. In that case, actually, I'm going to need a full screen, aren't I? So I need to send that to myself. Send that to myself now. Okay, so that can now go. This has to be full screen for it to work. All right, Jakey Wakey. Oh, 2 people online. Good morning, everybody. We're just doing a demo at the minute. You're a bit early. So I'd like to see early on the tee. Alrighty, so just a voice on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I did yesterday, Jake. Need to angle it so it's my feet. That's it. Okay, so then what you need to do is take that and take it to the screen. So people can see. So I'll stand right in front of me. Now to hit the straight on.
So about that, yeah.
That's it, perfect. And then what I can do is talk about club speed, ball speed, club path. Ooh, 2.5 minus, that's not good. And then launch angle, height, carry total. Okay, if you take the screen back over there then. And put it back onto the stand. That's it. And that way then, I don't see my feet and the force of the swing.
Yeah.
If I tell them might do it, I might move the mat a little bit.
It's a little bit into the corner, isn't it?
Close, isn't it? Oh. So if you want to realign Trackman. 8 people online. Good morning, everybody. We're just testing at the moment, get the right angle for you. Okay, what time is it, Jake?
What does it say? 25 past.
25. Jake, how can I get my... too close, mate. How can I get my screen not to lock out for ages? So
It's got settings, and then is it display and brightness? And then lock, auto unlock 15 minutes never.
Okay. And that'll keep the screen on.
I think so.
Sounds about right.
Okay, no. Sure.
Just make sure we try and keep 2 minutes apart all the time.
Right.
Stand over there. Just if you're online already, and I can see there's about 14 people online, very good morning to you. Would one of you, if you're signed in, just tap in to say the volume is fine, you can hear exactly what I'm saying. And also when I stand on the mat, can you hear me when I'm talking from here?
All good.
Morning, Joe. Thanks very much. Good morning to you. Alrighty, what time is it now? Okay, it's only 26 minutes past. We'll wait for everyone to come and join us. Just hit some shots and warm up in the meantime. Let's get that onto my other screen as well. Whoops.
There.
Jake's just saying 4 left. I do tend to hook the ball a little bit. Thanks, Matt. Morning, Sally. Morning, Dom. Nice to meet you both. See you both again. Or see you both. And Danny. Morning, Danny. Morning, folks. 27 people online now. Good morning to you all. It's 11:29. We'll give it 2 or 3 more minutes, then we'll get started. I finally hit the fairway. I might leave that one up, actually. Okay, 33 people. That's great. So those of you that are here already, make sure you've got a club in your hand. Get your glove on as well. Let's get yourself prepared because you're going to be moving around today. Morning, Jean, from sunny Teddington. So like I say, get a club in your hand. I want you to be moving around today. If you're watching this on your mobile phone, perhaps get into your garden or at least get into a room where you've got a bit of space. I want people moving today. Okay, so 11:30. 39 people are on the tee in time. Morning, Mr. Wolf. Hi, Les. Hi, Mary. Fantastic photos from Scotland there yesterday. Thank you. Okay, so you are all officially on the tee in time. It's 11:30 now, so 44 people turned up on time. Morning, Raj. Morning, Kathy. Hope you're all well. Right, 11:31. Who's getting a two-shot penalty? Ooh, someone just slipped in. 51 people now. Good morning to you. I'll keep that one up, I think. The best drive of the day. What time is it now? Okay, we'll give it 2 more minutes, folks, just in case people are having problems logging in or getting onto the YouTube site. Well done, Don. So like I say, if you are at home, put your glove on, get a golf club in your hands. I want you out there moving today. We're going to be talking about some drills and exercises, and you want to stay mobile throughout the session, really. We'll get started in just 1 more minute. It's 11:32 now. We'll wait for 33, 34, and then we'll get moving. Alrighty. There we go, 59 people online. Well, a very, very good morning to you all. Thanks ever so much for joining the live online streaming. I hope you're staying healthy and I hope you're staying well and you are self-isolating, as boring as that is. It's no fun at all. The golf course is a very eerie place at the moment. I've been out there the past few days hitting balls for the videos, and it's very, very strange being out there and having no members around. We do miss you. I trust you. Trust me. Alrighty, so today I've got Jake helping me, the head of retail at Roehampton Club, one of my assistants. He's trying to stay 2 meters apart from me all the time. He will be moving the camera to have a look at the Trackman video screen. Some of the sessions will be indoors and some of them will be outdoors. I want to start in today indoors, working on the Trackman and show you how the data all works with that. So what is Trackman? Well, basically, I want to take you up here now, folks. Trackman is this here orange box, 18,000 pounds of military grade radar. And that then gives me, if you just hold it here now, Joe. That radar takes a measurement of what the golf ball does and what the swing does as well. And then that comes onto my big screen here. So if we go, move it closer, please, Jake. Just to there. So it simulates the ball flight. And the reason why I'm using a driver with the Trackman is that it amplifies all the data that I'm going to use with you today. The first thing we measure, or what the Trackman measures, is the club speed, how fast it moves as it hits the ball. The second thing is the ball speed, and that's the big number. That ball speed is far more important than club head speed, and I'll explain why later on. It tells me how far I've carried the ball. I've ripped that one there. That's not usual for me. I've hit the ball 118 foot of height. Now, the tour professionals are trying to get the ball to travel around about 100 foot of height with every club in the bag. It seems strange to think that we have the ball going the same height with every club in the bag, but I'll explain why that is later on. My total distance is 285.9. Now, down here, this is a big number we're going to focus on today. The path, the route which the club head took into the ball was 2.7 on the inside. The world's best players are 1, 2, 3, 4 degrees on the inside. Macro is the most on the inside at 5 degrees. I'll explain a bit more about that later on. My face angle, very unusually for me, was 0.1 off of square, 0.1 of 1 degree
off a square. That's very unusual for me. I tend to try and close the club face on the way through to try and promote more of a hook spin. Of course, when my game goes wrong, the ball goes left-left. My attack angle is the path which the club ascended up towards the ball. You can either hit down on a golf ball, or you can hit up on a golf ball, or you can hit it squarely. I ascended by 4.3 degrees there. The ball left my club face at 14.6 degrees, which is just a little on the high side for my optimum numbers. Smash factor is basically the club head speed divided into that goes 1.48 times, and that's this number called the smash factor. It's not a phrase I particularly like, but it's a good way of understanding how efficient your swing is. The maximum smash factor one can gain, the limits of physics, coefficient of restitution, is 1.49999 recurring. 1.48 means my swing was very efficient. If you just load the screen, please, Jake. This is the clever part of Trackman, and this screen here is called the optimizer. What it tells us here is that I have an optimum spin loft, I'll explain later, an optimum ball speed, launch angle, spin rate, and height. I'm slightly high in all of those. As a consequence, I lost 2 yards of carry. Optimizer is saying, look, you should have carried that ball 269 yards. You actually carried 267. The biggest loss, though, was 9 yards of total distance. Because I hit the ball too high, out of my optimum range, which is around about 100 foot of height, I got 118 foot. That's way too high for me. Too much spin on the ball, too much launch angle. I lost 9 yards of total distance. You multiply that by 14 drives around, it's an awful lot of distance. Just take your computer back up there, please, Jake. Okay, so let me just talk through those numbers again there for you. Club head speed, how quickly can I move the club into the ball? Ball speed, that's the big measure. How efficient was my swing? How good was my strike? There's no point swinging the club quickly if you get a glancing blow on the ball. And every lesson ever given from here on in on the online, or what I do when I'm live with people, is focusing on losing an oblique strike. An oblique strike is when the face is open, closed, under, or over. We're looking for square all the time, and we're trying to optimize square. We're going to spend an awful lot of time talking about that today. Trackman is not the be-all and end-all, and science is not the be-all and end-all. We're looking to have a combination of the art of the game and the science of the game. If you don't like science, then just tune in today and have a good look. What we do know is that the world's best players all use a Trackman. Trackman has its own Wi-Fi. All the data from Trackman goes to their central supercomputer in Denmark every single day, and it crunches out all the numbers from Tiger Woods, Dustin Johnson, all the best players in the world. And what the supercomputer then does, it works out how efficient each mile an hour of a golf swing can be. If Tiger Woods swings at 105 miles an hour, the computer's telling me he can only hit the ball 9 yards further than me. So his swing is 9 yards more efficient. He's getting a better strike and attacking from a better set of data points there. If you don't like science, and some people don't like science, then that's totally understandable. The game is played outside, and it is an art. It's a science-based art. So don't worry too much if you're not totally into the data, because I'm going to be running courses throughout the week, some of which will be outside talking about the art of the game, and some of them will be inside digging very deep into the technical side of the game. Saturdays are technical sessions for the nerds. If you're a real golf nerd, you want to talk about data, Saturday mornings is your session. Alrighty, so if you've got any questions along the way, just tap them into these live chat bar here. I'll have a read of those and then try and answer them as we go along. Most importantly, we want to stay in touch with each other. We're a club, we're a collection of like-minded people. We're trying to stay together all the time. If you are on your own, or you're feeling lonely, or you know someone's lonely, just give us a call, get in touch, and join in the live tuitions, or get in touch with the ladies captain, the men's captain, or other members around the club. Do not fester at home feeling lonely. We're all here for you. Okay, so like I said to you, I want to get your glove on and get your club in your hand. Throughout this session, please don't sit on the sofa. When I'm demonstrating something or moving my body around, try and follow suit. If you look at very, very good players, they will spend most of their early parts of their learning mimicking and learning from other pros, whether that did their local club or pros off TV, what have you. Every assistant pro I know, every pro I know, is trying to swing in a certain way relative to their favorite player at the time. That has good and bad results, because we can't all swing the same way. But what you can do is just be mobile today and get yourself warmed up. So, is that everything? Okay, so the themes for this week and next week. Today we're going to talk about swing sequence, working from the ground up. We're going to start with footwork and balance. On Saturday, it's our nerd session. It's technical data, it's science, it's all indoors on Saturday. On Tuesday, it's ladies golf. So please just send your questions in if any of these themes appeal to you, you've got some questions you'd like to ask. Wednesday, we're going back to general swing sequencing. Friday is cadets golf for the junior members who are trying to aspire to become good players. That's going to be cadets golf on Friday. And then Saturday, we're going back to the nerds. I'll be posting all this information via Intelligent Golf to you anyway, so don't worry too much if you missed it. I've just said that. Remember, every lesson we're trying to reduce the amount of oblique that's in your game. Everything about golf is how we strike it squarely. I've completely retooled how I've taught the game over the past 2 years through working with the world's long driving coach, a chap called Lee Cox. Lee coaches people to hit the ball 400 yards, huge distances. That's like driving the second hole at Roehampton Club. Think of that, driving the second hole. Even for our good players, that's a driving a mid-iron or driving a long iron. So I've worked with Lee, and Lee works with Trackman, and he teaches these monsters to hit the ball such long distances. And I've really started to focus on how he coaches now and how he coaches those pros. So I spend time with him working on my game. He's really helped my game. I now hit fairways again. And he's also working on the world's best longest hitters, these guys who are making fortunes from bombing the ball at huge distance. The game is completely changing. If you look at how many of the world's best players now are real bombers of the ball, hit the ball as far as possible, they're making multiple dollars compared to the guys who are hitting the most fairways. Interestingly, one thing that's changed an awful lot is the further you hit a golf ball, the less dispersion you have. And that's quite counterintuitive. You think, well, the further I hit it, surely it'll spray more. You can't hit a golf ball a long way unless the club face is square. I simply can't maximize or optimize my distance or my ball speed if my club face is open, if it's closed, if it's under the ball or over the ball. The furthest hitters in the game hit the ball very squarely with a square face. That must propel the ball in a straighter line. It's logical when we put it into detail. And of course, Trackman's had to sort of train us to think like that. For years as pros, we said, slow your swing down, try and find the center of the fairway. Forget about it. You want to optimize the bang in your swing. You want to send that ball on the longest journey possible. Longest journey possible will be a straight-ish line. Maybe a little bit of hook spin. On Trackman will optimize that distance. We'll talk about it later on. Okay, so let's warm up together. Get the club in your hand, and it feels heavy like that. It'll feel very light when it's upright. When we make a golf swing, we don't want the club to feel heavy. So that's why swings don't occur like this around the body. When you see people who labor the club around the body like this, boy, oh boy, it takes the body off balance and it makes that club weigh a ton. Look at it there, vertical. It weighs nothing when it's vertical. So when we do our exercises, just rotate the club through like this. And the reason why we wear a glove on the left hand is that the glove hand has total contact with the handle. The right hand has much less contact with the handle. And so your glove hand is the most important part of how you hold the club. The glove hand is also the midpoint between the club head and your left shoulder. This is the most powerful lever in the golf swing. Again, when I work with the world long driving coach, they spend an awful lot of time building up that big strong muscle and creating speed with that big strong muscle. That's where all the power in the golf swing comes from. We've known it forever, but we know much more detail about it now. So you've got to warm up your hands and arms first of all. So get yourself outside, move the club around like this. So let's start with those small muscles in the forearm and the hands. Move your club around. Once you've done that a few times, you need to warm up these big muscles here. You've got the biggest range of motion in your body is from your shoulder. Look at that huge range of motion. So get your arms swinging around. Get those muscles ready for knowing that they're going to speed up soon. They're going to be working. When I came in here today, my swing speed was 99 miles an hour, so I'm swinging within myself. I then got up to 104 miles an hour, and I'm optimizing now at 105. The best I can get to is 106, 107 if I'm trying to wallop it. But I don't need to try and wallop it. I'll just try and get as much consistency in my swing as I can. So at 105, now I've gained, say, 4 or 5 miles an hour then at club head speed. It's not very much, but it's very hard earned. So don't think you stand out there and you warm up at 10, 20, 30 miles an hour gains. You started at a level and you add 2 or 3, 4, 5% to that speed anyway. Okay, so once we've got the shoulders warmed up, you get your arms swinging around, do what the pros do. Club behind your neck and a few twists like this. Get the whole body moving. Again, one thing I've retooled in my game, I very rarely use the word turn now. I think when you set yourself up the ball now, you want to put your right side behind you. I don't think about turning as such. I think put the right side behind you and the left side behind you on the return of the ball. If you do that motion in the golf swing behind you, the body naturally turns. If that happens, you create the power. Again, this is a way of retooling my coaching, which I've done the past 2 years through working with the long drive coaches. they talk about the body going backwards on the backswing and backwards on the through swing. That creates the rotation around the body of the club. So once you've got your shoulders warmed up, you've done a few of these twists here, then a few light bends on the back, get yourself over here. Don't bounce up and down because you might do a bit of damage, but literally just bend over and then just a little bit more and keep going further and further. That's how I warm up, then I go and hit some shots on the golf course. Right, so today we're talking about balance and footwork to create an inside strike. Jake, if you just hold the screen back here. Thank you. Okay, so here I'm swinging the club at 105 miles an hour. That's achieving 156 miles an hour ball speed. We want the ball to fly as fast as possible, and that's where oblique is weak. Remember what I said earlier, if the strike is oblique, you don't get the back of the ball propelling to the target. 156 miles an hour ball speed is optimized if I swing on the inside. So if you take the back, video back there. So. Okay, so when I swing the club around my body, the inside strike comes from here to here. Look at that path. The strike is coming from here to here. Listen to that smack I'm making there. There's nothing oblique about my slap there. Bang. I wouldn't slap my hand from over here. That's an oblique strike. I wouldn't slap my hand with an open, closed, under or over strike. I'm looking for that. And think of this. If this is a door here, slamming into a door frame here, it levers around the hinges here. And bang, it comes in squarely, but it's taken a full 90-degree arc to arrive there. And that's the shape of the golf swing. Let me show you one of my favorite photographs here. Alrighty, give me time to get it focused for you. That there is a picture of the top 10 players in the world on the forearm with the driver. Look at their shaft angle. It's way behind them. That tells you everything you need to know about the golf swing. Dustin Johnson, Justin Rose, Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Tiger Woods, Molinari, DeChambeau, Schauffele, and Fowler. Look at the club shaft. It's so far behind them. They're not bringing that club down in a straight line. And so why is that? They know, and every pro has known from the beginning of time, that we strike the golf ball optimally from the inside path here. To show you the numbers on that, when I swung at 105 miles an hour, I achieved 150 miles an hour ball speed. If I swing out to in or across the ball and give myself an oblique glancing blow, my club head speed will still be high, not optimal. My ball speed will be slow. So look at that. You've been the computer up, please, Jake. Remember, 105 gave me 154 ball speed earlier. 102, when I swiped across the ball, only gave me 126. So I've lost a full 30 miles an hour nearly of ball speed by swiping across the ball. It didn't register the path there. So if you do that one again, please, Jake. It's probably too extreme. Okay, so slow down a little bit there. My path was 17 degrees across the ball. Now, I've only lost 7 miles an hour ball speed, but look at that. I've lost again 20, whatever it was, 25 miles an hour of ball speed. 7 miles an hour lost there. 25, the ball moved 25 miles an hour less powerfully because my path was across a negative path. I swung across the ball out to win. So typically it wasn't like that. I could do it all day long, and 90% of what we do as golf professionals, week in, week out, is try and train members to hit the ball from the inside path. It's where all the power comes from in a golf swing. So, Alrighty, so if we then say we want to achieve an inside path, how do we achieve it from the ground up? Let me show you how the good player stands the ball. We normally walk with our feet slightly spread out, the toes pointing out ever so slightly. That's not how we stand to a golf ball. We want the right foot to be square and the left foot to be pointed out slightly. And the reason for this is in the golf swing, we don't want the right side to bow away from the ball. We want the right side to go behind us, not to our side. If that right hip goes behind me, the right side of my body, my right shoulder go behind me, then the weight of the body hasn't gone out here. That's not a good player's position. And after you finish today, have a look through Google, just type in any of your favorite top players in the world. You won't see a single one of them with that foot bowing out on the way back. It doesn't happen. What you will see is the right side of the body going behind. So we position the right foot squarely. It's not a natural position, it feels slightly uncomfortable. Tiger Woods was a big proponent of this, always had his right foot absolutely square. The left foot flares slightly that way, and that allows us then to move through. The power that we generate on the way back has to move forwards to send the ball forwards. Again, you do not see good players hitting off the back foot. We want to propel the ball that way a long way. We can't be going that way with the swing. We go backwards on the way back, forwards on the way through. So that's how we stand looking at this dimension, how the stance is. And when we say you want your feet at shoulder width apart, think of your ankles being at shoulder width apart. The driver, I naturally go quite a bit wider than my shoulders, but I measure that from my ankles. So the outside of this shoulder, my left shoulder, the left foot, and certainly just outside on my right side. In terms of your balance, again, something else which I've completely changed in how I retooled my coaching, I always used to say to members, get your balance even and spread between heels and toes. Now, that's not the end of the world. If you do that, it's a very, very good way of standing. To truly optimize the inside path, you want a little more pressure on your right heel and a little more pressure on your left toe. Let's explain what that means. As I stand here and I set myself up, I'm pressing my right heel down slightly because on the backswing, I want my right hip to go backwards. I want the right side of my body to go backwards. My right knee goes backwards. Now, years ago, David Ledbetter bought a load of books which PGA professionals like myself were reading. Nick Faldo was very famous as his pupil, and they would say, oh, you must resist with that right knee. So when you swing the club back, you swing back, the right knee stays in shape here. And of course, we were all teaching that, and we're all trying to swing that way ourselves. It's a disaster. And what's really interesting now is if you look back at Faldo's swing throughout the absolute peak of his career, when he was teaching keep your right knee flexed, he was moving and straightening his right knee. The benefit now of the internet and YouTube, what have you, is that we can see so much more now. We know so much more. And that's why we as coaches have to change our coaching. I simply cannot coach the same way now as I did 10 years ago, 5 years ago. We know so much more. So we know the right side, when Faldo was swinging his best, he straightened that right leg. And he created more leverage in that left leg. And think of how powerful your legs are. Think of why balancing your feet is so important in the golf swing. That right leg straightens, it means that the whole of my right side of my body is going backwards. And that's a powerful hitting position. If you go into a gym, you can press and push so much more weight with your legs than you can with your hands and arms. We have to engage the lower body to create real power. And everything's about power. The more power you have, the squarer you're going to strike that ball, and the further you'll hit it on a straight line. So as I set myself up here, I don't particularly want my weight to be evenly spread between heels and toes like we used to teach in the old days. We press the right heel down very slightly, just so we're aware, and we press the left toe down very slightly. And that creates a slight angle in the body, which of course creates an inside path. So everything is about gearing yourself up to go on the inside path. My inside path with the driver is anywhere between 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 on the inside path into the ball. It's a little too much. What I do know, for years I tried to swing slightly across the ball or cut into the ball, hit a little bit of fade. I was costing myself distance and accuracy. They go hand in hand. If you hit the ball a long way, you'll tend to have less dispersion on your ball flight. If you're a short hitter with the wrong swing, then you're going to spread the ball much more relative to yards travel. So when I set myself up now, and again, this was something which one of the greatest strikers of the ball called George Knudsen in the 1960s. And when I say greatest striker of the ball, I'm referring that to what his peers said about him. He was a fantastic player, George Knudsen. and Hogan the same. They both position themselves with a slight bit of weight on the right heel and a slight bit of weight on the left toe. And that sort of set a slight angle to the body, which created this inside smack from here. It's also a very complicated game. We think we're trying to send the ball in a straight line, but we're not. We're trying to send it with a slight draw. We're trying to send the ball slightly right of target and draw it back. In order for that to happen, like I showed in the picture, the 10 best players in the world, we hit from here, from the inside. In terms of where we point, Tiger Woods, Sam Snead, Arnold Palmer, three of the best players of all time, all point their feet slightly right of target because they hit from the inside and they want the ball to bend back over to the left or back to the target. So the three best players of all time don't stand squarely to the ball. You mustn't fixate about it either. And I spend an awful lot of my time in the driving range with people as an exercise drill saying, look, point yourself right of target and let's promote a swing where the ball curves to the left here. Because the opposite is death. If you aim left and slice across it, I can tell you now the numbers on Trackman are appalling. Okay, so thanks, John, for your question there. On dispersion, why are the longest hitters on the PGA Tour never in the top 50 for driving accuracy? Because, John, if you look at the longest hitters on the PGA Tour, they make the most dollars. That's all they care about. They don't care about driving accuracy. So they go beyond what's optimal. What we do know is if they want to hit the fairway, then they'll hit the ball at a certain speed, but they don't care about hitting fairways because they know the loft on the clubs, their rescue woods, and also the data, which has been proven to them many times, means that they don't have to hit fairways anymore. They can be just off fairways and hack it down there. And it's called bomb and gouge for a reason. They also take the view now that they don't need to win to make cuts every week. They'd rather win or finish down the money list. So that it's all or nothing now. The game's completely changed. If you look at someone like Faldo in his prime, all he cared about was hitting fairways and playing from the centre of the fairway all the time. That sort of player wouldn't exist at the top of the game now. I don't think we'll ever see one like that again. I don't think we'll ever see a straight hitter who's going to dominate the game unless they're giving massive yardage to being a straight hitter as well. So again, if you look at all the data on dollars earned to distance hit, that's all they care about now. Okay, so are there any more questions? Feel free to just type them down the side here. Okay, so I'll go back to my stance here. What I want you to do in your own time now, because throughout the sessions, I'm going to build on the sequence. Next time, I'm going to talk about the role of the knees in the swing and then the role of the right side in the swing. But we have to do it from a stable base. If you look at Jack Nicklaus, who spent his entire career writing about instruction, he got some fantastic books. He was promoting all this years ago. And in between him writing his books and where we are today, the golf swing has gone full circle. People talk about different things in the past 10 years and different methods and what have you. But what Jack Nicklaus talked about years ago, and don't forget, he was the longest hitter of his generation. He was completely different how he swung compared to his peers. He was a very, very long hitter. So he knew all the secrets there. He put them all into a book for us, and we ignored it for the most part. Or we get seduced by other things. It's very easy to go to YouTube and look at advice. And that's what happens to me an awful lot when I go onto Twitter feeds of the top coaches. If you then read people's views on the golf swing, and they're so highly complicated. These could be 18 handicap people giving advice on the golf swing. I don't understand it. I'm looking at it thinking, what the hell are they talking about? The golf swing is very simple. If you look at pictures of, it's not easy. If you look at pictures of, say, Jim Barnes back in the turn of the century, he swung exactly the same way as Brooks Koepka does today. I sent out on one of my recorder articles last year just some frames of a pro Jim Barnes from 1911 and Brooks Koepka. There's no difference in the swing. The physics haven't changed. Our understanding of the physics is much better now owing to Trackman, but the physics haven't changed. There's an optimal way to meet a golf ball, and it's always squarely. You arrive at square from the inside. You don't arrive at square from the outside. So the drills I want you to do between me seeing you next time. Look in the mirror. In fact, I just take the video here. I spend an awful lot of time in the indoor studio here on my own game and teaching with my members, swinging in the mirror here and actually seeing what I'm doing. If you've got patio windows at home, or you've got a mirror that you can look at yourself whilst you're swinging, then do it. It's the fastest way of learning because you get a feel of what you're seeing. And one of the great phrases within the game is feel and real are two different things. Butch Harmon coined that phrase when he was working with Tiger Woods. And Tiger Woods listened to it all the time. He said, what I'm feeling is not always real. When I'm looking in a mirror, it is real. So the drill I want you to do before I see you next time. Right foot absolutely square, not tilted out that way. Left foot flared out slightly. Now, if you're a lefty, I know one or two lefties are watching here. Hi, Ian, hope you're on there. It's the left foot is square, the right foot is flared out slightly. And then when you address the ball here, we don't get any of this bowing on the way back. The left-handed player is this position here. I actually wish I'd taken the game up left-handed. I feel like I've got much more free-flowing swing as a lefty. That's by the by. So, your drill then. Get your right foot square, your left foot flared out slightly. If that's 0 degrees, just 4, 5, 10 degrees at the most out here. In terms of where you align, pointing to your target, I'm a hooker of the ball. I have to aim myself right to the target. So when I set up to hit the first green, I'll set up like this. Plenty right to the target. I'm allowing for my big shape. Let's see if we can hit one on target now. Okay, so that's a classic good shot for me. I don't always get them. That's a classic good shot. So you can see now I'm moving my club 105.5 miles an hour. I don't get much above that. I can do if I try and wallop it, but that's my optimum number. My ball moved at 157 miles an hour. That's very high for me. And if you see down here on the smash factor, the limit of physics is 1.4999 recurring. That tells me I hit the sweet spot of the club for the best path possible for me to propel the ball on its fastest journey possible. I can't hit the ball much further than that. I carried the ball 267 yards, and I got a total distance there of 291 yards. So 24 yards of roll, quite a lot for me there. I normally try and hit the ball a little bit higher than that. I'm not looking for lots of roll on the golf course. But here's the big kicker. 7.9 degrees on the inside. I came heavily from the inside. There's not a tour pro in the world who come from that much from the inside. 5 is about the limit, 6 possibly. That's Rory McIlroy. What I do know is that I actually play my best golf if I'm too much on the inside. I'm a disaster off the tee, and John Randall is a former club captain on a Sunday morning will verify for 1 or 2 missed fairways for me. When I'm trying to swing too straight, I hit the ball much straighter, much more on target and further, certainly, by bombing it from this 8-degree inside path here. My face was slightly open, so I didn't get too much of a hook spin on that ball. And if you look at the simulated ball flight here, that ball started plenty right of target and then curved back round to finish more or less bang on target. Remember what I said before, golf is not a straight line game, it's an on-target game. I did a lot of work with disabled soldiers, some of whom are watching today, from the On Course Foundation, and they teach me how a bullet leaves a gun. Now, if a machine cannot send a bullet on a straight line, a bullet barrels and it rolls and it rises, but it has to hit its target. Now, if a bullet leaves a gun and hits its target, it wasn't necessarily a straight path that bullet took to get there. Same in a golf swing. I'm a hooker of the ball. I'm trying to get the ball to bend right to left, so it optimizes my distance. If we go to the lower screen down here now, please, Jake. The optimizer screen is a very clever part of all this. It tells us exactly what each mile an hour is capable of. The shot I've just hit there, I carried 267 yards. There's only 3 yards left in the tank. I'm very happy with that. Total distance, I hit it 292 yards. There's only 5 yards of distance left in the tank, but I'm middle of the fairway, 292 yards away. I'm delighted with that. So my data panel's down here. I'll ignore spin loft, but ball speed, because I struck it in the sweet spot of the club, it optimized here. It's very rare that that happens. When I'm dealing with low handicapper golfers or I'm dealing with amateurs in the swing studio here, it's very rare we get our strikes so good that we get it into the optimum distance. It's normally 2 or 3 miles an hour below, which is a very small percentage, but it's tantalizing. My launch angle, what's the optimum trajectory for my ball to leave the club face? 13.7 degrees. I hit that one nicely. Spin rate, every shot ever struck has backspin. We're trying to optimize the amount that I have. I got the 2240 there, which is about right for me. And again, going back to the height, I hit that one 101 foot in the air. Thank you. So let's talk about optimum height. And again, Trackman taught us this. Nicholas worked it out years ago. All shots go the same height. if they're struck similarly. Pitching wedge will travel, let's say, 100 yards, but 100 foot in the air. The driver travels 250 yards and 100 foot in the air. But its trajectory doesn't reach its peak, the apex of the flight, until much, much later. They both travel 100 foot in the air. Now, Jason Duffner is obsessive about that. He tries to get every single shot exactly 100 foot. And the reason why he knows that his Trackman readings, Trackman data, always optimizes is because it's 100 foot with every club in the back. Now, for years, I've looked, hitting that driver really high, that's superb. But it's only got the same height as someone's pitching wedge. It just looks very, very different. Alrighty, so what do I want you to do before I see you next time? Just rehearse the stance for me. Set yourself up squarely with the right foot, left foot flared out. And then get the feeling that the right heel and the left toe are running the weight that way to the ball. Because remember, we're trying to hit the golf ball from this path here. We're not swinging on a straight line. When we teach beginners, it's logical for them to think, well, I'll swing on a straight line. But of course, we stand over here. The golf swing is a rotation around the body. It can be a high rotation, it can be a very vertical rotation. For left-handed golfers, that's a low rotation, that's a neutral on-plane rotation, and that's a very high rotation. What we do know now is the world's longest hitters all swing it high. They get the club very high up here. Look at the pictures of Bubba Watson I posted last week on the recorder. Arms way up here. And why is that? It gives them the biggest, widest arc to smack into the back of the ball. 8 degrees for me, coming from the inside here, that's my optimum. But the long hitters, the real bombers, get very high and come right to the back of the ball. We're trying to eliminate oblique all the time in the golf swing. Alrighty, so do you have any questions that you want to post onto the live chat here about anything I've talked about or anything which you want to talk about in general? Is that it? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send out an email via Intelligent Golf, and that email will detail the sessions that we're going to do. Okay, Lauren, I'll come back to that very shortly. The themes for the sessions next week. Just send me an email if you've got any questions about anything you'd like me to discuss. richard.harrison@roehamptonclub.co.uk, and I'll use them in subsequent chats. Hi, Lorna. So I was trying to get the right chat when you talked about standing square. Okay, well, the stance isn't necessarily square depending on the shot you're trying to hit. Tiger Woods, Arnold Palmer, Sam Snead all stood pointing right of target. There's a great video in there that I've got of Tiger Woods talking about how he hits a fade. Historically, we don't think, you hit a fade by aiming your feet further left to allow for the ball fading. But Tiger Woods actually aims his feet further to the right of target when he wants to hit a fade. If you're playing tennis or table tennis, you wouldn't necessarily think about having to stand perfectly square to the shot you're trying to hit. You can move your feet into a position which enables you to swing the racket the best way for the shot you're trying to play. It's the same in a golf swing. Now, I like to hook the ball right to left, so I point my feet way to the right of target to allow the bend that I put onto the ball. Jack Nicklaus, the #1 player of all time, aims left of target, keeps the face open, and allows his ball to bend back to the target that way. Good players don't obsess about standing square. They'd be more obsessed about where their shoulders are relative to square, because the shoulders, of course, swing the arms. So in terms of how you stand to the ball, Lorna, I've played with you many times. You're a very straight hitter with the ball. You like to stand squarely to the ball. I would recommend you do it all the time. So when you set yourself up to the ball, a slight variation that way or that way on your stance doesn't really matter. It's the variation on your balance. As I was saying earlier, the balance ought to go from the right heel to the left big toe. That's where the balance is in the golf swing. Historically, we've always taught that it's the middle of the stance here. But good players actually stand a little bit more like this. And that sets a motion and a feeling at address that we're going to hit this ball on the inside path from here. Optimum distances are all achieved from the inside path on Trackman. But surely you should never stand with your shoulders going left. Square or right would be the only option. Well, square relative to what? if I set myself up here now, and my shoulders are pointing left, my hips, my knees, and my feet are pointing left, and I'm pointing left relative to the target. If I hit the ball from the inside here, the club head, Trackman, and the ball and the target have got no clue where I'm pointing. So if you look at someone like Bubba Watson, for argument's sake, when he hits a shot, oftentimes he starts in a position like this, pointing way off target. That optimizes the way he swings. For a club golf on a more prosaic level, we're always trying to align shoulders, hips, knees, and feet all going in the same place. That will optimize the path of the swing. The feeling in the swing, that if your stance is slightly closed and you have your stance weight from right heel to left toe, that everything is pointing slightly right of target from there. If there's a slight variance, and you point slightly right of target, that will just encourage more of an inside path anyway. Okay, so any more questions from you all? This video will be saved on the YouTube channel. So if there's anything which you've missed or you didn't see or want to replay, then you can go back and watch that. But in the meantime, I want you all to stay very healthy. Keep tuning in. Like I said, I'm going to send the videos to you on, I'll send you the formats for the themes for next week on the Intelligent Golf website. Tuesday's ladies' day. What did I say then? I'm going to do Wednesday. I'm going to do general swing like today. So any questions or answers that you have in the meantime, send it on to me. Next Friday, I'm going to do cadets golf for the junior members. And on Saturdays, each Saturday is our big technical session. So we'll be inside the room here. Wednesdays and Fridays, well, next Tuesday, next Wednesday, we'll be outdoors. So I'll be outside. So if there's a particular theme you want to discuss, any part of the game, just let me know. In the meantime, I want you all to stay healthy, stay well. You know where I am. Just send me an email if you've got any questions. Cheerio, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. All the best.